forward button.
And the mute button.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the mute button. What would I do without my students? All right. So if you would either find a comfortable place to sit, or you can lay down too if you want. I just need to be able to project my voice toward the computer. So I'm going to stay seated for a minute. And I wanted to read just a little short thing, a little short quote. And it's by a person named Artie Karuna. And he says, "The year is finally coming to an end. I will not cry over the bad days. I will not despair over failures. I will not forget the lessons I learned. I will not let any incident from the past devastate me or make me less courageous. And I will never stop believing in love." So, you know, this has been the weirdest year, truly. And I like that quote because it reminds me to not look at this past year as devastating or even as loss, even though we've all lost probably something, maybe someone this year. And the year's been really challenging, but I don't want those things to define me, and I really don't want to bring them into the new year, because this is life. Every single moment, every breath is our opportunity to live in the moment. And I never want to forget the courage that it takes to continue loving, even when things get challenging. So just our thought for today is to start to practice. And then lay down on your mat. I know the lighting in here is a little funky, but we'll just work with what we've got. Go ahead and lay on your mat and keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And just kind of snuggle your hips, your sacrum into the floor. Maybe the feet are wide and the knees come together so that the legs can relax. Your hands start by resting on your belly. Right, and we just start to tap into the breath. And as we inhale, the whole body fills. And as we exhale, it all releases. As we take the inhale in, the belly fills, the lungs fill, the chest rises. And as we let go, the chest softens to the floor, the belly button softens toward the floor. And even as we breathe here, we maybe feel a soft rhythm of the pelvis, of that breathing in and out. Just let somebody in, that softening. We notice and breathe. And as you lay on your mat and breathe, maybe you start to feel more at home. More at home on your mat, more at home in your body, more at home in the present moment. And then with your hands still resting on your belly, just start to, go ahead and take the feet to hips width, the knees back to hips width apart, and just rock forward and back on the pelvis, right? Just that nodding and tucking, that tilting and tucking of the pelvis. As we draw the belly in, and then expand it out, making space behind the lower back. And feel how this moves underneath your hands. That's it. Just rocking forward and back, starting to move through the pelvis, the hips. And then imagine that you're going to do a circle or a clock as you tuck, that being up at that 12 o'clock spot, and then over to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12, and just circle. You're still keeping the hips on the floor. It's not a big circle. You're just rocking around this pelvis, right? This sacrum, moving all around. Just kind of notice that, and notice how the ribs play a part. Notice how the legs play a part. And then circle the other way. Just kind of checking it out. This is an interesting move for me, because it just changes how I orient to the pelvis. Usually it's a forward and a tuck and a tilt. But here I'm just kind of doing this circle. And then bring it back to center, plant your feet, lift your hips just a few inches, just so you can get your hands underneath. Press into your feet, your hands can come down at your sides, and then do the same thing. Start with a little tilt and tuck of the pelvis, just a little bit. You're just checking it out. Now you've got some free space, right? There's no restriction from the floor. The shoulders are down, the head, neck is soft and comfortable. And see if you can isolate the pelvis, just checking it out. And then do the same thing, see if you can do kind of a circle with the pelvis. So you're going left, high, down, low. And see if you can just find some movement there. Be curious. Don't worry about doing it perfect or just right or, right? Just be curious. Maybe go the other way. It's soft, it's interesting, and then sway the hips side to side. Just sway them side to side. And then bring it back to center, press into your feet, lift up into a small bridge, and lower all the way down to the floor. Draw both knees to chest. Stretch all that out, grab your strap. Take the strap around your left foot, take the left foot up to the ceiling. If your hamstrings are tight, leave your right foot on the floor. If your hamstrings are pretty open for you, straighten the right leg. And marvel again at the body. Soften the shoulders down to the floor, maybe point and flex your foot. Just stretch it, your left foot. That's it. And then hold this nice stretch of the hamstring. Keep your left leg up to the ceiling. Take your right arm over your head so your thumb is touching the floor. Palm is face in. Breathe, stretch through your left or your right leg, stretch through your right arm, and then softly roll the left hip down a little bit as if you had your left thumb in the hip. We're going to play here a number of times today. So just feel your left hip draw away from your left rib. Soften the left shoulder. It might be subtle. If you're not feeling it or not getting it, don't worry about it. Just notice. And then bend your right knee, bring the right leg up to the ceiling, release your right hand, switch the strap. Just take your right foot in, take your left foot out. Maybe your left foot is on the floor, or maybe the leg is straight. It really depends. Some of us have naturally more open hamstrings. Some of us have super tight hamstrings. If that's you and you're struggling to keep that right leg up, just bend the left leg, let that happen. And feel the stretch, shoulders are soft, we're just checking it out here. Maybe point and flex the right foot. Oh, there we go, right? Starting to wake up the body. And then flex that foot, take the left arm overhead. Let the thumb rest on the floor, palm is face in, notice that. And then move the right hip away from the right side ribs. It's not a big move, right? It's as if, again, since I have my thumb, my right side to the camera, it's as if I were putting my right thumb in that hip crease and drawing it down a little bit, kind of opening it up. And notice that, maybe you curl it in and curl it out. It's super small. And then move that hip away from the ribs, maybe soften the ribs back down to the floor. Find your breath. And then slide your left leg up, bring that left leg up to the ceiling, switch sides on that strap, slowly lower your right foot to the floor, your left hand holds the strap this time, raise your right foot, right leg a little bit off the floor so it's hovering. And imagine that you would stretch one leg away from the other leg or one heel away from the other heel. Everything else is pretty soft, pretty chilled out here. Start to raise your right leg until it's roughly at a diagonal, or roughly that the heel of your foot is pointing to the corner ceiling where the corner and the wall meet, or the wall and the ceiling meet. And then imagine turning your right toes out just a little bit. So we're playing with this kind of air pyramid, which we're going to come back to later. So imagine your legs in pyramid pose. Hold the strap with your right hand, take your left thumb to your left hip crease and draw the left hip crease back and breathe. And notice the sensation. Also imagine that you're squeezing a block, because I don't want your legs kind of wandering off into space. So they're really planted as if these feet were on the ceiling. I know, right? Bend both knees, switch the strap or switch the leg. Take your right leg up, start with your left leg long. And then start to raise the left leg up. So it's roughly pointing at that where the ceiling and the wall meet. Turn the left toes out just a little bit. Imagine both feet pressing into the ceiling. Hold the strap with your left hand and take your right thumb to your right hip crease and draw that hip crease away. Ooh, yeah. Find your breath here. Keep pressing through the back body. Notice which side may be easier, which side might be harder. And then bend both knees, take both feet into your strap, take both feet up to the ceiling, hold on to that strap on both sides, and just press both feet into a nice flexion here. Keep your lower back toward the floor, but keep a teeny space behind the low back. And imagine that you were doing a half forward fold. So feet are on the ceiling as if they were on the floor. The legs are straight. The knees are not hyperextending. You feel this and draw the shoulders back down to the floor. And imagine doing a half standing, half forward fold. And then bend both knees, release your strap and set it aside. Grab your block. Place the block between your legs, between your thighs. Take your hands behind your head. Lift up into a small crunch here. So even though the hands are on behind the head, I'm not pressing my head
forward. I'm not pulling on my head, not pulling on my neck. I'm just checking out that old belly. I've been eating a ton of cookies lately, so we got to do something about that. Good, squeeze your block, squeeze it, feel the effect of squeezing the block on the floor. Maybe let go of your right hand and lift up higher. I tend to keep a hand on my neck. I don't like that feeling of my neck hanging. So just really squeeze, but you should be able to let your left hand go. You're not holding your head for dear life or pulling on it. You're just stretching. And then switch hands, right hand behind the head, left arm reaches past your legs. Feel that belly starting to work. And lower everything down, bring your knees to your chest. And then keep the legs, keep the block between your legs, hands come down to your sides. If you have a tricky or a tender lower back, you can place your thumbs, your hands under the sacrum for extra support. But here, I want you to come to kind of a 90-90 with your legs so you feel your belly engaged. Squeeze the block and allow that to support your low back. Straighten the legs up to the ceiling and then lower the legs kind of again at that slight angle so that we're working our belly. Squeeze the block more than you think. Don't over squeeze, but squeeze more than you think and see how that supports your lower back. If you feel nothing but your lower back, come up a little bit. Good, bend your knees, straighten your legs, lower the legs any amount that you would like, squeeze the heck out of that block, press your back into the floor, working on some core here, everybody, and then bend your knees, bring them in, straighten them up, bring them out of the diagonal, hold right here, and breathe. Take both arms overhead, thumbs touching the floor, and then press your ribs down to the ground. Yep, everybody breathe, maybe circle your ankles, maybe lower the legs a little bit more, but don't arch in your back. Keep pressing really strong. And then as you inhale, take the arms up to the ceiling, lift your upper back, upper chest, and reach toward your knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower everything, knees to chest. Big deep breath. And then take your same block, we're almost done here, take it between your ankles. So this is a whole different thing, right? We're moving the focus out to the legs. Again, if you felt the last bit on your lower back, take the hands underneath the sacrum. Always take care of your body. If this is too much, your knees are bent and you're just moving knees away and knees back in, okay? So there's a really awesome option to strengthen core without stressing. Good, otherwise the legs are straight. I wanna squeeze that block between my ankles. I'm gonna take my arms up toward the ceiling to draw the shoulders back, and then move arms and legs away from each other. Don't come all the way down to the floor, and please don't arch in your lower back. Squeeze the heck out of your belly, hold, and then exhale, bring it back up. Inhale, lower. It's your body. Woo! It's your pose, don't overdo. And bring it up. We got 3 more. Slower to a point, and then squeeze the block and hold. Squeeze the belly to the floor, hold. And bring it up. We got 2 more. Lower as much or as little as you want. Smile here because that's all you really can do. And bring it up. We got 1 more to go. Breathe. Here we are. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it all up to center. Bend your knees. Ooh, release your block. Grab your strap and just set it in front of you as you roll over to your right side. If you don't have a loop in your strap yet, don't worry about it. You don't need it for this particular moment, but then lay down on your side, on your right side. If you would like a blanket for your head, underneath your head, feel free to use that or use your arm. Straighten your bottom leg and take your top leg, your foot right on top of your thigh, if you can, if your knees allow. Imagine if we were doing a sideways tree pose. So it's kind of what I'm looking for here. Your bottom leg is active. You're on the side of your body. You're not leaning back. You're not leaning forward. You're active. You're pressing your foot gently into your leg back into your foot. And just notice this. Again, imagine if you were standing on the floor. From here, keep your foot where it is. It's going to pivot, but don't let it drop behind your leg or in front of your leg. And just bring your knee down to the floor and press it back up. Yeah, bring it all the way down. Some of you are going to feel a nice stretch here. And then bring the knee up, maybe squeeze it back to activate your glute. And down, squeeze it up. Yep, down. Squeeze it up. 2 more. Down. And up, you got it. Down and up, and then hold right here. Bring your knee toward your shoulder. You're either going to use your strap around your foot to take the leg up to the ceiling, or you're going to grab your foot or your ankle or your knee and take it up. And just breathe here. Everything else is pretty comfortable, but you're pressing your whole right side body into the floor, and you're doing your best not to lean back or lean forward. Just stretching it out. That's it. Find your breath. And then take that same leg, release it, whatever you're holding on to, release it, and take it down toward the floor, right out from your hip, right down to the floor. Yep. As much as you need to shift the body to make that happen. And feel that stretch again through the outer leg. And then draw that hip crease, that top hip crease. I want you to squeeze it in, squeeze it in, squeeze it in. You're probably going to feel a pretty good stretch on this outer upper hip, right? So draw it in, draw it in, draw it in, squeeze the belly in, everything else lined up. And then bend your knee. And release it. Good. Roll over to the other side, everybody. Left side, same thing. Strap, no strap. That'll be up to you. Your bottom leg is straight out from your hip. You're on your side body. Your top foot just rests on your thigh, hopefully above the knee, right? I didn't say that on the other side, but above or below the knee. Think of a sideline tree pose. Pause for a moment, find your balance, and then let that knee drop to the floor, and then squeeze it up without leaning back. Good, 4 more, down, and up, down, little stretch, squeeze it up, 2 more, down, reach it up, good, 1 more, and hold it up. Feel that nice energy, maybe engage both glutes in the back to help stabilize you, and then bring your knee to your shoulder. Either use your strap around your foot or grab your big toe or grab your ankle and take that leg up. Right, again, hamstrings, right? I have pretty open hamstrings. I can touch the floor, forward fold first thing in the morning. That's not for everybody. So maybe the strap is there to help you. Really press down through your left leg or the leg that's on the floor, right? Press down into that leg, try to tone the low belly in, finding this little hand to foot stretch. And then release your hand from your leg or your strap and slowly let that leg come all the way down to the floor. Woo! And then kind of suck that leg back in. So I'm actually pushing, pressing back through that hip crease. It immediately stretches this back hip, back glute a whole lot more. as we start to draw in, that's going to be the kind of focus of class today. So find your breath, big, deep breath. That's it. And then soften, bend both knees. Oh, and press all the way up. Goodness gracious. And then find an easy seated pose. We're almost done with the floor warm up. You're going to walk both blocks up toward the front of your mat for later use. And inhale, reach up. Exhale, right hand down, left arm over. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm over. Stretch, good. Take it up. Exhale, right side. Inhale, up. Exhale, left side. Inhale, up, last side. Take it over. And up. And left side. Oh. And up. Good. Everybody interlace those hands. Press the arms up. Exhale, curl it all in, little seated cat and cow. Reach up. Exhale it in. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze it in. Last one right here. And exhale, squeeze, 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 and let it go. Roll it out. If seated, you'd rather be seated on your pillow or blanket, be sure to do that. And then grab your strap again. Take the left leg out, the right leg into Janu Sirsasana, or your right foot into your left inner thigh. Maybe your block is under your right knee, maybe not. If your knee is hanging up off the floor, you want a block there to support that so that you take some of the pressure off the inner thigh. And then notice, right, notice again how this pose is for you. We did this sideline, right? Foot into thigh, thigh into foot, getting some energy there. Grab your strap to get around your left foot, lift the chest really tall, and then feel the energy of the legs, the hips, the belly toning in, the shoulders going nice and broad, right? Chest lifting. Just breathe. Not that big a deal, right? We're finding that big old stretch. And then what I want you to do is take the strap in your right hand, and then take your left thumb, same as your left leg, take your left thumb and pull that hip back. It's really not going to go very far, but I want you to get a sense of drawing that hip crease deeper, right? Deeper than it was before. And then feel the lift, and then maybe come forward. Keep pressing that left thumb into the left hip crease. Keep drawing that hip, that left hip back and almost wide, right? It's not really an external rotation, but it is a widening of that sit bone, that hip. Maybe you don't need your strap. Maybe you're just going to hold onto your foot or your shin, or your hands are to the floor. And take a moment here just to feel what this pose feels like in your body, right? Often we'll go from pose to pose to pose. And as a teacher, you know, I have the path I'm following, but can you feel this in your body? Where is it for you? Are you over rounding? Are you holding on to your foot, but not taking care of your back? Right? Are you better served to be here with a more neutral torso? Something to think about. And then roll it on up. Point your right knee to the ceiling, step over your left leg, wrap your left arm around, and just come into a nice easy twist. Still your left leg is active, so don't let it get all soft and mushy. And come forward. Release your twist, straighten out your right leg, circle out your feet, your ankles, and then switch sides. Left foot in, right leg straight, block maybe underneath that knee, especially if it's well up in the air, right? It'll help your forward fold if you're not struggling through that inner thigh. Take the strap around your foot, lift up your shoulders, press your foot into your leg into your foot.
Breathe. Soften your shoulders, right? Maybe you're shooting through the shoulders and let some of that tension go. And then broaden through the collarbones, tone the belly, lift your chest. Find your breath. And then hold the strap in your left hand, take your right thumb to the right hip crease, and imagine drawing that hip crease deeper, right? Finding that opening, and then maybe take the torso forward. Woo! So, hamstrings for me, right hamstring always tighter than my left, so I feel this stretch a lot sooner than I did on the left side. So I'm gonna pause here and check it out and see if it's worth me exploring or going further. Maybe your hand comes to your foot, maybe it's at your shin. Keep drawing the right hip back with your thumb, and then release that hand to find the fullness of this forward fold for you. And again, smile, right? So smiles loosen things up. They send happy hormones into your body. Scientific fact, right? Happy hormones. Because it tells our body that we are enjoying what we're doing. I've been listening to some meditation with Tara Branch, and she says, start by smiling with your eyes, or smile with the inside of your mouth. It's kind of interesting. All right, everybody, release. Oh, release your strap if you have it. Take the left knee, point it up to the ceiling, and then step over your right leg. Lift up really tall. Right arm around your knee, twist to the left. Find your breath. Life is good. And release it. Release that left leg, shake everything out, circle the ankles. And then as you're ready, let's come to table pose. We're not gonna stay long. But if you want to cushion your knees. We'll be at low lunge later in a little bit. So if you want a blanket underneath there, go ahead and take some time to do that. And then again, find table pose and just tilt the pelvis. Not so much cat and cow, although you can bring it in a little bit deeper. But just tuck and tilt your pelvis. And then do what we did on the floor, which is weird circle of the pelvis, of the hips, to see if you can find some movement through your hips. And circle the other way. And just notice, I'm asking you to explore your body. It doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be small. And come back to neutral. Flip your toes under. Lift your knees a couple of inches or so off the floor. Still a tucked belly. Tuck and tilt your pelvis. Again, we did this when we were in a low bridge. And then find your weird circles with your hips. Notice the knees, move it around, maybe make it bigger. Circle the other way. Woo. Yeah, we're getting some movement in these hips. And then take yourself to center, plant your hands, and come to downward facing dog. Your first down dog, maybe pedal the feet. Maybe find your breath. Maybe breathe. Come all the way to your tippy toes, stretch them out. Release, lower the heels a little bit more. They don't have to touch the floor. Take your right leg up to the ceiling, optional. Step all the way through, right leg steps through. Lower your left knee to the floor, grab your blocks. I have my blocks on medium height, and just pause. And check it out, right? So when I say check, I was the worst yoga student for staying still. Because every time I would get into a pose, I'd want to go, huh, what's happening to me in this pose? What does it feel like? And so I tend to wiggle a lot. Breathe. Someone once suggested maybe a little ADD. It's possible. And then from here, slowly straighten your front leg. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Flex your foot. Bring your toes up toward the ceiling. Lengthen your spine. Hold your belly. And on the exhale, bend your knee. Good. 4 more. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bend it. Good. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, stretch, stretch, stretch. Exhale, bend. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, bend. Hold on. Flip your toes under. Lift your left knee. Now you're in a high lunge. If that is not appropriate for you, lower that knee right back down. We are here again. Straighten your front leg. Maybe lift your toes off the floor. Stretch. Now bend your knee. And stretch. That's it. We got one more here. I want to pause. So here we are, high lunge, right thumb, right hip crease. Draw that hip crease back. I like to wrap my fingers right around that outer hip and feel that baby move. If you are steady and feel okay. And by the way, you can have a knee down, same thing, right? Straighten your front leg and let your thumb guide your hip back. My left hand is still on the block. I still have my core engaged. My front leg is not blocking out. My torso is really long. Find your breath. And then bend your knee. Let your hand come back to your block. Lower your left knee to the floor. Stretch your right leg back. Maybe move the blocks. If you're really comfortable, blocks are really steady. You can find down dog with blocks. So downward facing dog. And let the left leg rise up to the ceiling. Again, very optional here. Step all the way through. Left leg forward. Right knee to the floor. Hands to blocks. Check it out. Wiggle. Find your inner curiosity. Find your inner curiosity. Yeah, I was gonna say, find your inner curious kid. And then from this low lunge, straighten your front leg. And then 5 times. Use your breath. Inhale. Exhale. That's it. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bend it. Inhale it. And exhale. One more right here. Take it straight. And bend it. Flip your toes under. Lift to a high lunge. I have my hands on my blocks. My blocks are at medium. My front knee aligns with my front ankle. Take your left thumb to your left hip crease and draw that kind of back and down. That's it. And just feel that. If you don't feel supported or your one hand on the block doesn't work for you, wrists or fingers, both hands stay down. And then straighten your front leg. Oh. And breathe. I realized I forgot the little rolling one. So take your hand to the block first. And just 3 times. Straighten, lift your toes. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And bend it. Good. Last one. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend it. And then come back to that thumb in the hip crease. Torso really lengthened here. Big toe mound on the floor. Breathe. And then release, take your hand back to your block, maybe shorten your toes just a little bit so that you can step forward easily and come to a nice forward fold. Bend both knees and come all the way up to standing. Oh. Beautiful, beautiful. Shake it out. Grab one block, place it between your thighs. Take the feet parallel to the edge of your mat, whichever way you're standing. Roll out your shoulders. In fact, maybe a few arm circles here, just to stretch all that out. Good, and then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart, nice deep squat. Release those hands, take it up, inhale. Exhale, release. Exhale it down. And exhale. Good, and up. Last one. And up. Good, exhale, squat, hands to heart. Maybe you find a little circle going on with those hips one way and then the other way. There's a song in there somewhere. Breathe. Notice, right? Belly tucks, tailbone lengthens, chest lifts, squat as deep or as less deep as you would like. There's no line, there's no, you must squat at, 90 degrees, whatever it is. There's none of that. It's your body. It's like, oh, can you stay in your squat for a while, or do you need to come off? Right, here's your marker. Yes, this is good. No, this is not good. That's all. And then twist to your left. Now, if you're a higher chair, I want you to stay with that right elbow floating. If you want to go deep and take right elbow to left knee, go ahead. Big deep breath. Take it center. Twist to the right. Remember, you can be suspended or you can take knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Oh yeah, now I'm feeling my legs. And come center, everybody. Inhale up. Exhale, just hands to heart. Roll the shoulders back and down. And release those hands, and I want you to curl your wrists. Curl them the other way. Shake them out. Good. I'm going to take top layer off because I'm getting more. That's the cool thing, right? Not doing some good old yoga. Get ourselves warm, get the blood pumping. Good. Take the block out from your thighs, both blocks to the front of your mat. And then before we head there, I just want you to stand in a nice solid pose, right? Solid standing pose, mountain pose, hands to your hips. And turn your left leg out so that your heel is resting on your shin. And then squeeze in your right leg, right hip, so you're not doing the sassy hip thing, you're nice and toned. And then just swivel on your big toe. Swivel in, swivel out. Simple, simple. Check out where your hips are. You got it. So 1, you're gonna stay here. 2, you're gonna come into our first balance pose, which is tree pose, and squeeze that right hip in, hands to hips. And do the same thing. I'm gonna bring the knee forward, I'm gonna bring it out. Forward and out. Woo. Forward, yep, more movement, more balance challenge. Forward and out. Last one, forward and out. Squeeze the back glutes, just like we did when we were laying on the floor. And then take that knee forward, release it from your leg, straighten it out in front of you, and let go. You got it. Other side. Squeeze that left hip in, left glute, left hip, right? Fire up the leg. Your heel is to the inside of your ankle or shin, and then just allow it to swivel. See where it is. Notice, if you swivel too far out to the side, what happens to the hips? There they go, right? Just notice that, because that's important, especially in tree pose. And then release, either come back to that or find your balance. Your remember hand can be to a wall, to a desk, to a chair, squeeze in through the left side. Keep your hands at your hips and swivel knee in and out. Yep, swivel in. My foot's moving all over the place, so I'm not trying to keep my foot planted while doing this. Good, 2 more. Squeeze it in and out. Woo. And in and out. Pause and release. Take it out. Now come to your blocks. Inhale, everybody, lift up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, halfway up. Right? Did this on the floor. Both legs were in straps. And we're finding that nice alignment here. Find the stretch through the hamstrings. Keep the backs of the knees soft. Take both hands behind you. Reach the arms long, but keep the elbows soft. And then in any amount for you, knees soft. Let the torso lower as the arms raise up. Draw the front shoulders away from the floor. If that is too much for your shoulders, you grab your strap and use the strap as your extension so that the arms and shoulders can stay wider. Breathe. Notice the tendency of the shoulders to drop forward. Nice tone to the belly, good support for your back, everybody. Release those arms, take your hands to your blocks, step back, right leg. Either your knee is down or your knee is up. What makes the most sense for you? Hands come to knee, wherever you are. The chest starts to lift, the tailbone starts to lengthen. Inhale, reach the arms up. Find your breath. And then release those hands, press the hands back. Interlace the hands, if that's okay for hands, wrist, shoulders. If not, just leave them separate. Breathe, and then take the torso forward. As you straighten your front leg, holy moly. And breathe. Bend your knee, release your hands. Inhale up. Let's do that one more time to see if I can do that a little more gracefully. Good, exhale, hands come back. Interlace as an option. Press through your front leg straight in. Woo. And release. I know that's tough. Exhale, hands to your blocks. Make sure your blocks are steady on your mat and switch sides. Feet are hips width apart. You're starting in either a high lunge or a low lunge. They both work. Take your hands to your knee and lift up. So fire up the legs, right? Make sure they're working for you. When you're ready, hands back. Interlace front leg straight. Release the hands, bend the knee, come up. Exhale. Woo, slow, slow, slow. Find your balance, everybody. And up. Exhale, hands to blocks. Step forward, left leg. Pause here, bend your knees, and come all the way up to standing. Good. Hopefully everybody is warmed up. I'm going to release my little socks here. Grab your strap if you have. So ideally, your strap is in a loop. You're going to take the strap. So notice where your strap is and where the tail of your strap is. And then take the strap through and on your right leg
all the way up to your upper thigh. Just gonna tuck this in so we have some thing to see. With the tail to the outside. That's going to be important. So if you put it on the other way, take a moment and switch the strap. If you don't have a strap or you don't have a strap with a loop, if you have a strap without a loop, can't loop it, just hold both ends here. And if you have nothing, don't worry about it, we'll use our thumbs. So right foot forward, left foot back, pyramid pose stance. We did this when we were laying on our backs, right? We have our front foot forward, our back foot back. I call it a 2/3 of the way back, with your back toes pointing mostly forward. They're just slightly pivoted out to the side. So you have the strap here on your right side. It's tugged, it's tight, but not overly tight. And then just leave it be. Reach around your back with your left hand and grab your strap. So I'm able to hold all the way back in the corner, and we won't take as much time to explain this moving forward. But if you don't have that much shoulder movement, just hold toward the back of your sacrum. So pyramid pose, belly is toned. I want you to tug on your strap. If you don't have a strap, your thumb is in the hip crease. And as you tug on that, notice what happens to this whole hip thigh complex. This is something we don't take a lot of time in yoga to teach, but it's so important. So here I am starting to level out the hips, knee, hip, foot, all in a line. As I take my torso forward, I'm going to take my hand to my block, and my block is outside my right foot, and it can be high. It can be medium. But here's what I want you to do. As you're tugging on this strap, you don't go too far because then your knees splay out to the side and your hip gets all wonky. It's information to draw that back. As you lengthen the torso, as you find this pose, maybe you keep the strap there, maybe you wrap it around your sacrum and pull it down the left hip, right? So that you feel both hips, both sides of the sacrum, really level. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you keep tugging on the strap. If your strap is long enough, you can bring both hands to your block. You won't hold the strap as tight here, but you'll get that sense. And then maybe you bend your elbows. Ooh. And breathe. Torso is long, that right hip drawing back. If you had your thumb in there, right, you would be drawing that thumb back. So some of my yogis out there will hyperextend that front knee. I want you to soften it. Try to move out of the sit bones instead of the back of the knee. Yeah. And then bend your front knee. Step forward with your left foot and come on up. And if you were really tugging on the strap, I want you to soften it so that you can put a finger underneath it, because sometimes when you're really pulling, you can go a little too much. We're staying on the same side for now, so we're not switching the strap over and over and over again. I want you to keep the strap on the right, tailbone is, or the tail is out to the right. Step back with your left foot and think about warrior one. So my feet are hips width apart. Maybe you even go slightly wider on your mat with your feet and feel what that base of support is. Front knee is bent, and as I pull on the strap, it just draws the hip even, right? Draws my knees centered with my foot instead of curling in. I want to think about this as I lift up, reach the left hand behind, grab the strap so you feel your arm on your back and on your sacrum, and take your right arm up. Your left shoulder is drawing back, your belly is toning in,
You're finding the sweet little warrior pose. Either stay here, or if your strap allows, if it's long enough, take both arms up. And breathe. And just feel this lovely little, it's almost a rotation, but not, right? As you breathe, as you open it up. And exhale. Release it, step forward. Loosen up your strap, switch legs. I hope that is making sense for you. So as we're doing this and as you're switching legs, I'm just gonna face forward in the camera, and it's a similar thing too. If we had our thumb in our hip crease, those fingers wrap around the hip, and we're doing basically this, right? Because if our hip rolls forward, our knee rolls forward, everything gets out of alignment. Instead here, we're drawing that hip back, creating the space, right? And then finding the pose. All right, so here we are again, nice and snug around the left hip. I'm gonna move my block so I have it forward. So strap this around, way up high on the hip. Reach behind with your right arm. Open up your shoulders, right? Or pyramid first. Your back toes pointing mostly forward. I'm gonna just give a little tug on that strap to level out the hips, straighten the legs. Take your left hand to your block. Feel how much the torso is lengthening here. Make sure that you're pressing through your big toes so the inner line is grounded as much as the outer line of your leg. And then either stay here, remember your block can be up nice and high or medium, or keep wrapping that strap around your sacrum and just take your hand to the block on that side. I'm holding the strap, but it's not real tight at this point, right? It's just giving me some feedback along the sacrum, along the hips. Soften the shoulders, maybe the elbows bend, press through the big toe, the whole inner line of your foot, the deep inner line of your groin. Breathe. And then bend your front knee. You might need to soften or shorten a little bit, maybe even go wider. Reach that hand back behind your strap. Hold on to it. Keep your front knee bent and come all the way up for warrior one. The left arm rises up. I'm giving that strap a little bit of a tug. Belly tones, chest lifts. Find your breath. And either stay here or slide that strap up your back to warrior one, both arms up. That's it. Feel that kind of freedom, that opening. Release the pressure on your strap. Step forward. Release the pressure on your left leg. Slide out of your strap. And pause. And then take the strap behind you and just reach back through your arms. So palms are face out, belly is toned, and just stretching. Notice if the front deltoids here, right? The front shoulders. Notice if they're rolling forward. If they are, see if you can drop them back and down. And just lift your chest. Maybe feel the belly stretch. Don't drop your head back, please. And release. And then take the same strap overhead. Take the arms as wide as they'll go behind you, right? Or the straps behind you, not the arms so much. And just notice your wingspan. Fire up the legs enough just so that they're part of your pose. And feel your wingspan. And from here, I just want you to easy twist. You can move the legs, easy twist. We're really just stretching out the front chest. Because if we're thinking about half moon, and we want to have one arm down and one find that opening in the chest. And then stop the swinging and just maybe let the arms come down behind you. Inhale them up, exhale them forward. Your strap should be wide enough that you're not doing funky things with your elbows or shoulders, back and forward. Funky things. One more. Reach up and back. And roll it out. All right, so you're gonna need one block. And you may or may not want to be on your mat, and you may or may not want to be near a wall or something, right? Near a wall, near a chair. I like half moon with my hand on a chair. It's kind of a neat way to do it. Take your strap, roll it, or take it up your, let's do our right legs first, because I think we just ended on our left leg. Make sure the tail is to the outside of your hip. Bring it all the way up. Your block, so your right foot is forward. Your block, I like to set my block down. Some people like to hold it and bring it forward that way. Basically, that block is anywhere from 4 to 12 inches in front of your foot and to the pinky side of your foot. So it's not right here straight out in front of your foot. It's to the side a little bit. You've got that strap around your right hip, tail is to the outside. I want you to reach back with the left hand and hold on close to your hip so that the left shoulder opens. And then face your block, okay? We've already been here with warrior one and pyramid pose, right? So that same action of the front hip is in play in half moon, even though the hips are open and not square to the front. So draw the hip back, bend your knee, reach for your block, and just put your hand on the block. And then check out your back leg. So belly's toned. And I'm just gonna think about lifting and lowering, right? But I'm holding on to the strap pretty darn tight because I want that leg to stably face forward. When and if you're ready, you're gonna lift and hold. Keep looking at the floor. Don't worry about anything else. Adjust your block so that it feels comfortable under your shoulder. Tone your belly. Maybe open your top hip to the side, but keep pulling the strap that's around your leg. Start to open up the shoulder. Imagine somebody is pulling your top leg so that you stay centered on your foot. Maybe look to the side. Maybe slide the arm up the strap to hold. And breathe. Thank you all. Yeah. And then see if you can let go of some of the angst, some of the seriousness, and just feel grounded. Soften your front leg, bend your top leg, level out your hips, hands to the floor, forward fold. Bend both knees, hands to knees, come on up. Loosen that strap. Take it off your right leg. Put it on your left leg. Make sure the tail is to the outside. Just tighten it up enough, make sure you can get some fingers under there. You don't want to cut off your blood supply. Left leg is forward, right leg is back. Reach behind with your right hand and grab your strap close to your hip. And then lean forward, tone the belly, lean forward, put your hand on your strap and place it somewhere that makes sense for you.
right? If you had it right at your foot, when you lift, you're gonna shoot way past that block. So the block's forward enough that when you lift, you line up with the block. I would start with a few of these, right? Good tug on your strap. Good support around your back because of your arm. And then maybe you pause and lift. And you're just gonna check this out. If you look down at the floor, your balance is better. Pull on the strap, maybe start to open to the side, right? Maybe hold here. As soon as I look at the computer screen, I tip. Maybe the arm goes up. Breathe. And then let go of the grip of the toes. See if you can find length in the legs. Breathe. Softly release. Whew. Come all the way up to standing, right? I know. Take that strap off. Hold on to your strap. If you stepped off your mat, go ahead and fix your mat. And then take your same strap and just wrap it across your sacrum. So it's nice and low. Hold on to each side tightly. Feet or hips width apart or slightly wider. I want you to come down to the forward fold. And then hold on to the strap as you tuck down the forward fold. So I'm just creating some grounding on my legs, on my sacrum, by pulling down pretty strongly on the strap. Big deep breath, everybody. You can let the head hang, you can tone the belly. Breathe. This should feel good. I hope it does. As teachers, when we adjust, we might put a weight on the sacrum or press our hands down on the sacrum to help ground the legs. And then soften the knees. Come all the way up. Release your strap. And come to the front of your mat. Now we do it on time, good. Inhale, reach up, everybody. Exhale all the way down. Soften the knees, step back, right leg. Knee up or knee down, hands to knees, or to knee, lift up, reach up, high lunge. Find your breath. Hands to hips. Turn your back foot to the side position. Warrior one. Breathe, hands to hips. Straighten your front leg. Take the torso forward, your hands to the floor, to your shin, sorry to cue your blocks. Pyramid pose. No strap, but you feel that drawing back of that front leg's hip as you lengthen the line of inner and outer leg. Breathe. Notice. Soften your front leg. Step forward, right leg. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. Step back, left leg. Find your stance. Knee up or knee down. Hands to knee, lift up. High lunge or low lunge. Breathe. Hands to hips. Drop your back foot so that the heel comes down a little bit.
Reach up as you inhale, warrior one. Oh, it feels so good. And then hands to hips as both hips draw back. Front leg straightens, pyramid pose. Let go, soften, breathe. And then straighten your back foot. Step back to downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Come all the way to your tippy toes. Lower your knees to the floor. Whew. And come to a seat. No rest for the weary today. And a lot on the menu. Have your blocks nearby. Roll your shoulders. Maybe sit on one block and get your hips up nice and high so you can see the blocks there. If it's okay, the knees are crossed, the torso is lifted. Just come in nice and easy to start. Good. And then bend your left foot. Slide that left heel out, release your left, take ankle to knee, and come into a seated figure four. Make sure you're feeling comfortable on your block. You don't have to sit in it, but on it, by the way. You can sit on the floor, but sitting up allows us to keep this torso nice and tall. And just feel that hip. Feel all your work, feel this just inner sense of radiance, of joy, of holy moly in your body from your practice. Big deep breath. Carefully here, your left foot stays planted, and I mean planted. Release, grab your big toe of your right foot, release the leg, see if you can extend it out. Take the left arm out too, and find your breath. Oh, you can wiggle, you can sway. Lift the chest, lift tall, press into your left foot. I just noticed my left leg is all wobbly there, so press into your left foot. Lift your chest, everybody. Cross knees, let go of your foot, your right leg's on top. Walk the feet out and consider cow face legs, right? We did a lot of work in the legs. We're now doing a little bit of hip work. So you can keep your knees high. This is where your other block would come into play. Again, it so depends on your hips, how your hips play in the world, right? Are you more forward hip? Are you more side hips? It has nothing to do with anything except the way you're built. Some of you are going to be able to bring those knees down to the floor, still keeping a nice tall torso. Some of you can rest your hands on your feet for more of a closed pose, a more energy conserving pose. And just think of all this going around and around. So we find love for ourselves. The poem I read earlier when we started class of basically letting go of the year, letting go of our attempts and failures and losses, and just being here in this present moment with love just over brimming, really. If we can just tap in, even if it's for a second at a time. I'm not all lovey-dovey all the time, trust me. But if I can just come back to it, it changes everything. All right, lean back, undo your legs, straighten out for a moment just to shake out legs, knees, and then plant your right foot. You might want to slide it out a little bit. Take left ankle to right knee and then slide your right leg up as much as your hips, legs will allow. Maybe you hold on to them and rock a little bit, but keep lifting the chest. Keep lifting the belly button toward the legs, right? Without arching in your low back. And just maybe smile. Maybe breathe. You got it. And then either stay here or plant your right foot, grab your big toe, your shin, your knee, release that left leg and let it sail up toward the ceiling. Lift up your chest, maybe take the right arm out. Try to keep your right foot planted and your right knee straight ahead. As you open it up, maybe you stretch the left leg out to the left. Maybe you bring it across a couple times, right? Find your inner curiosity one more time. Lift, lift, lift. And then cross your left over your right. Let that go. Start to walk the heels away from each other. Maybe you're up high. Maybe you're good and supported with a second block under your knees. Maybe those knees come down toward the floor. Breathe. Maybe your hands come to your feet. Maybe you close your eyes just for a moment here and feel the inner peace, the inner stillness in your body. And then lean back, undo the legs, straighten them all out. All those legs, straighten them out. Lift your torso. I want you to put a bend in your knees and just drape over your legs. Be careful if you're still on your block so it doesn't tip, just drape over. The knees are bent so that your back isn't going to have any strain to it. You're just being a little bit of a rag doll. And then slowly curl all the way up. Come on off your block. We're getting ready for Shavasana, so if you took off a second layer and want to put it back on, or socks or anything like that, go ahead and do so. And then do me a favor, just this last time, if you still have your strap, I want you to grab your strap. I'm going to give you a couple options because the one can be confusing. I want you to take your loop and make it bigger. Realize I have a blue loop and a blue shirt. Make it bigger. And then twist it and make it into 2 loops. So you have a double loop. If that is confusing and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then just 1 loop. Thread your legs through up to your thighs. And either you have 1 loop and it's tight enough so that when you come down to Shavasana, those legs are captured. Second option is to take 1 of those loops and take it below the knees, 1 loop above the knees. So I think you can see that, right? And then come to Shavasana, so that both the shins and the thighs are captured within your strap. And then hands are either at your sides or on your bellies. You can
fully relax your legs. Because your strap is there to contain them. You can fully relax your chest, your belly. If your knees or if your low back is chatty, still using the loops, just bend the knees. And start to feel your belly soften. Feel your hips soften. Maybe allow a smile to begin inside your mouth. Maybe the eyes smile softly. Notice how you're feeling. Notice a sense of peace surrounding your body, your heart, your mind. And as you drift into Shavasana, I want to read one other small quote. It says, when life gives you 100 reasons to cry, show life that you have 1,000 reasons to smile. Imagine that. Feel the rest of your body. Feel the softness of your breath flowing in and out. If you would like to stay in your Shavasana longer, please do so. If you are ready, begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Draw your knees to your chest, undo your strap if it is there, and just rock side to side.
Releasing from that side pose, start to press all the way up to your seated pose.